Welcome to the fourth week of U-MYScI's August activities, Adventures in Engineering. This week we will be exploring two different structures, the geodesic dome and the Da Vinci bridge. What is a geodesic dome? A geodesic dome is a hemispherical lattice shell structure constructed from triangular elements. Interestingly, the first geodesic dome was designed by the German engineer Walther Bauersfeld for a planetarium in the early 1900s. However, it wasn't until many years later that this structure was popularized by Richard Buckminster Fuller, who is largely credited with its invention. In his quest to improve the design of modern shelters, Fuller discovered that triangular elements are twice as strong as rectangular elements. As you can see in the video, this triangle is much more stable than the rectangle. Since triangles are structurally rigid and allow structural stress to be distributed throughout the structure, this led to the geodesic dome's ability to bear a lot of weight for its size. In fact, geodesic domes present several energetic advantages due to the small surface area and round shape. Plus, they require fewer building materials compared to rectangular structures. Since then, many popular structures have used this design, such as the National Science Foundation's South Pole Station that enclosed a bunch of housing and other equipment at the South Pole, and the spaceship Earth at Epcot in Walt Disney World. Can you think of additional examples of structures that utilize the geodesic dome design? In this experiment, you will be building a geodesic dome with a frequency of 2. The frequency of a geodesic dome has to do with the number of triangles that make up the basic building blocks of the dome. The higher the frequency of the dome, the rounder it becomes and the stronger it is. In today's experiment, we will be building a geodesic dome with a frequency of 2, meaning that it is made up of building blocks, or struts, of 2 different lengths. Hi everyone, my name is Sydney Rosenblum, and I am a graduate student and the Executive Director of U-MYScI, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through the Adventures in Engineering experiments. So first we are going to be making a geodesic dome. The first step is to make pentagons. We will be using straws as our struts, or the individual building blocks of the dome, and pipe cleaners to hold them together. So first, you're going to want to take 2 pipe cleaners and tie them together. And then feed the 5 strut A's. The strut A's will be the longer straw, and the strut B's will be the shorter straw. And so you will want to tie the ends of your pipe cleaners together to create a pentagon. Once you have your pentagon, you can try out different ways of doing this, but what I've found works is you take one pipe cleaner, my straws are falling, take one pipe cleaner and you twist it around one of the vertices of your pentagon, and then you will feed 2 pipe cleaners onto it, and then attach it across the pentagon like so. And you can either leave this for future tying together, or you can cut it off with scissors, which I do not have. And then you will repeat it for a couple other straws. And with this one, what you can do is feed 1 pipe cleaner, twist it around the center, and then put the other straw in. another pipe cleaner. It might be helpful to cut the pipe cleaners, but again, I don't have scissors with me. Alrighty, so now we made our pentagon. And then you'll make 5 more, like that. And to make a dome, you will take an extra 5 of your strut bees, which are your short straws, and use them to connect your pentagons at the bottom. Like so. And then you can use maybe some extra bits of pipe cleaner if you have it to connect those vertices and continue on to make a dome. So now that you have your dome, how much weight can it bear? Can you put a cup or a bowl on it? Or in my case, I'm going to stack some books. Let's see how many I can stack on. Oh, I got 4 books on my dome. So now do you think the books weigh more or does the dome weigh more? Next, we will explore the Da Vinci Bridge. In 1502, the Italian artist and inventor Leonardo da Vinci created the plans for a novel bridge design for the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid II to cross what is now the Strait of Istanbul. The Sultan did not think it would be possible to execute Da Vinci's design, so it was not chosen for this project. About 500 years later, Da Vinci's design was put to the test when a similar but smaller bridge was constructed in Norway, and that is on the left. In 2019, researchers at MIT built and evaluated a stone model of the bridge shown on the right. The novelty of Da Vinci's design was that it was self-supporting, meaning that it relies on physical properties such as gravity, force, and friction rather than nails or mortar to maintain its integrity. The bridge is held in place due to a physical property called force. Force is a push or pull on an object as the result of that object's interaction with another object. Anytime there is an interaction between 2 objects, there is force upon each of the objects. There are 2 main categories of forces: contact forces and action at a distance forces. Some contact forces include frictional force, tension force, air resistance, and spring force, whereas action at a distance forces, which do not require physical contact, include forces such as gravitational force, electrical force, and magnetic force. The 2 key forces, friction and gravity, play key roles in the design of the Da Vinci Bridge. Friction is the resistance to motion of an object moving relative to another, and gravity is the force that attracts an object towards the center of the earth. While it might sound crazy to build a bridge that doesn't have a material connecting each stone or log, the researchers at MIT determined that the design Da Vinci created in 1502 would have succeeded in supporting its own weight, maintaining stability under load and wind shear forces. And now today we will be building our own Da Vinci Bridge. For this next experiment, we are going to be building a Da Vinci Bridge. You're going to need 12 pencils and 32 rubber bands. To start, you're going to take 2 pencils that have 3 rubber bands and place them parallel to each other. Next, you'll take, nope, not that pencil. You'll take a pencil that has 2 rubber bands on it and place it on top of the middle rubber band notches. And then you'll take a second pencil that has 2 rubber bands and place it beneath the 2 top rubber band notches, the ones that are not next to the eraser. Next, you're going to take another, oh no, and that happens when you're doing some highly technical engineering. So then you'll take 2 additional 3 rubber banded pencils and place them underneath that bottom pencil on the leftmost side that you saw, and then adjust it to make sure that the rubber bands are holding the structure in place. You might have to play around with it a little bit and get a feel for it, but as you can see, it is helpful to have 2 people working on this together. And once it's stabilized, you can test it to see if it will hold any weight, but then we are going to move on and keep building. So next, you're going to place another 2 rubber banded pencil underneath on the edge of your structure. And then you'll take another set of 2 pencils, each with 3 rubber bands, and place it underneath that pencil, but on top of the bridge. And this, again, you might have to adjust it a little bit. Make sure that it stands on its own. Maybe test out how much weight it can bear. And fidget with it so that it is stable and secure. Once you feel like your structure is stable enough, you can test how much weight it can bear by placing books on top. How many books can your 9-pencil bridge hold? Now we're going to continue and add the final 3 pencils. And again, you're going to add the 2 rubber banded pencil underneath, and carefully with your partner, lift up the pencil and place the 3 rubber banded pencils underneath. Again, make sure that the eraser end is pointing towards the ground so that you are able to use it as a stopper. Again, adjust your bridge very carefully and see how stable you can get that structure. Test out how strong you think it is. Maybe make some additional adjustments if you need to. Make sure that the middle notch rubber bands, in most cases, are holding up the 2 rubber banded pencils. This will help the friction keep it in place. And once you're confident in your structure, test out how much weight it can bear by adding some books or another heavy object. Uh-oh. Looks like it's falling. And there you have it, folks. Thanks for tuning in to this week's U-MYScI activities.